Just a moment. And I will present my screen. Just a moment. I will present my screen. Just a moment. Okay, let me see if it looks like that. Can you see this presentation on my screen? It sounds good. So let me start the presentation. In case the screen freezes or you don't hear me, please let me know right away. Thank you so much. So let's start our onboarding training session. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will try to keep it short, but very informative and useful for you. Let's start with our first topic, a booking process. A booking process with Giggster starts from a booking request sent to you by a prospective renter who found your listing on our website. You, as host, can accept, reject a booking request, or send a custom rate. You have three options. If you accept a booking request, we collect a payment from your renter, thus guaranteeing your payout for the accepted booking, and it's regulated, it's governed by our location agreement, and you are protected by Giggster's cancellation policy in case the renter decides to cancel the booking. So if you accept the booking request, you have a confirmed booking. If you reject the booking request, you don't have a confirmed booking, and there is no penalty for rejecting a booking request. However, it's recommended, highly recommended, to justify why you reject a booking. Explain to the renter why you can't accommodate their booking request. So if you have to reject a request, please send your renter a quick message explaining what happened. Maybe the location is not available, or you can't accommodate their project for some other reason. It's always good when you communicate with the renter and explain why the request is rejected. And please note that it's better to reject a booking request than to ignore it. If you don't accept and don't reject the request, it will be automatically rejected in 48 hours. And thus, the system will consider you as unresponsive. Unresponsiveness is not good. That's why if you can't accommodate a booking, simply reject a booking request. You can also reply to a request with a custom rate. When you want to quote a price that is different from what is listed, you want to change the default quote originally generated for the booking request. Maybe you want to provide a discount or increase the price depending on the specifics of the project. And also, the custom rate tool is useful and necessary when you want to enforce some custom rules. For example, a custom cancellation policy, or you want to add some notes to the addendum to the location agreement that we generate for your bookings. For example, you need to introduce some custom rules for a booking depending on what the renter wants. You may introduce some restrictions, or on the contrary, you will allow something that is regularly not allowed. So any custom rules can be formalized by sending your renter a custom rate and adding these custom rules to the notes section. These notes will all be added to the addendum to the location agreement generated for this particular booking when your renter accepts a custom rate. Apart from booking requests, you will also receive booking inquiries, which are different from requests in the way that they can't be approved or rejected. Inquiries are simply messages sent to you by prospective renters. They can't be approved or rejected, but they require your response. You can find inquiries in the Messages tab, and the requests can be found in the Bookings tab. So by inquiries, we mean simply messages from your renters. And pay attention that while booking requests expire in 48 hours, and if you don't accept or reject them, they will be automatically rejected in 48 hours. Booking inquiries do not expire. They remain pending and waiting for your response. And if you have multiple booking inquiries without response, unfortunately, your response rate will be affected, and you may be even suspended for unresponsiveness if you have many messages from potential renters without your response. In both cases, when you leave requests and inquiries without response, your rating is affected and your listing loses scores and goes down in search results. It becomes less popular if you ignore requests and inquiries. And in both cases, you can reply to your renter with a custom rate. Doesn't matter whether they have already requested a booking officially by sending a booking request, or they have sent you simply a message asking about your location. Here you can see how to send a custom rate. This option is always available to the right from the booking chart. You simply click on the Send Custom Rate option. You can send a custom rate and the renter will be able to accept or reject it. You can cancel the custom rate if you changed your mind and send a new one. When you click on the custom rate button, you will see a window where you can also introduce the notes that will be added to the addendum to the location agreement. How to edit a confirmed booking. This is a new feature that we launched a couple of weeks ago, now allowing hosts to request booking updates from within the application, meaning that the host should not contact Giggster customer support to update a confirmed booking. You as host, if you already have a confirmed booking, can go to the booking details and scroll down to the bottom of the page and click on the update booking option. You will be able to introduce new booking details, add hours, change crew, add additional fees, or maybe reduce hours, change date, time. Any changes can be added to the new booking details. And then this updated booking will be submitted for approval by the renter, because it's not possible to update something already confirmed without agreement from both parties. So you can request a booking update and the renter will have to accept the new details, the new booking details, and they will be charged an additional fee or refunded based on the new details. If the fee does not change and only the date changes anyway, the renter will have to accept the new terms. And once the renter accepts new booking details, you will be notified that a new booking is generated with the new details introduced, requested by you. It makes the booking update process much easier. And this option can also be used on the day of the booking and until the booking is completed. While it's underway, you can still modify the original booking and maybe extend it if the renter wants to extend it, or if the renter brought additional people and wants to increase the head count, you can still request a booking update, but make sure to ask your renter to accept the new details from within Giggster. Specifics of the booking process. This is a very broad topic. There are many things to discuss about the booking process. That's why I always recommend hosts checking our help portal, where you can find many useful articles dedicated to this topic about the communication with your renter, how to create a successful listing for events, productions, meetings, what to discuss with your renters, what to inform your renter about. All these things are explained in the help section on our website. But to keep it short, I always say that the basic questions to cover in your communication with your renter before you accept their booking request is to discuss the crew size, the type of activity, consumption of alcohol or smoking, usage of some heavy equipment, and insurance and filming or event permit. These are the key things to discuss because they're very, very important, both for your safety and security and for the renter, so that they know what is allowed and what is not allowed, how many people maximum they can bring, how many people are allowed, and if you accept people overages or not. Will you allow an extra person to access the premises for additional charge or not? This is very important to discuss in your communication. Of course, it's also important to notify your renter about the house rules, restrictions, and when the booking is already confirmed, to send them check-in instructions. As for the check-in instructions, you can set up the welcome guide in your listing. The welcome guide is the text that you create, and I recommend introducing check-in instructions, the contact information of the main point of contact on the day of the booking, the person who will be responsible for check-in, check-out, even if it's self-check-in. Not all renters manage to get access to the location, so it's very important to stay online or to be available to answer renters' questions in the booking chat, or to pick up the phone if the renter calls you and requires some assistance. Maybe your site rep will be available to help. So all this information, the check-in instruction should be available in the welcome guide. Why do I recommend to set up the welcome guide? Because it's sent out automatically 2 days before the start of the booking, or if it's a last-minute booking, it will be sent right away once the booking is confirmed, and your renter will be notified, will be provided with the check-in instructions. And in case they say, wow, I can't find the location, I can't manage to check in, you will be protected because you provided sufficient information about the check-in process, and the renter is expected to follow the instruction given by you. In cases of last-minute bookings, sometimes renters, hosts forget to send check-in instructions, and the renter can't find the location. There is much confusion, many concerns. The renter wants to cancel the booking last minute, and so there is some miscommunication, and the process is not as smooth as it can be when the check-in instructions are provided on time, and better when it's done automatically. As I mentioned, the house rules should be mentioned. You can set up house rules in the listings details, but sometimes renters don't read the listings description and the listings details attentively. So it's better to repeat, to emphasize some important house rules and restrictions in your communication with the renter before you accept the booking request. Also, when you communicate with your renter, don't forget to mention any additional fees, if any, and if you collect a security deposit, especially if you collect it outside of Giggster, don't forget to mention it in your communication with your renter before you accept the booking request. Because if you do it after that, it may happen that the renter doesn't have budget, doesn't have funds to pay something extra to leave the deposit, and they will have to cancel the booking, and it's not what we want to happen. In the help portal, you will see useful articles, as I already mentioned, about the booking process, the dispute resolution policy, overages, overtime, damages, permits, and many, many other useful topics. That's why I recommend taking a look at this very useful section on our website. there you can use the search field to find answers to your questions. How to make your listing stand out. We have 3 great articles that explain how to create a successful production listing, successful meeting listings, and successful event listing. We give useful advice in the help section on our website, but the standard rules and recommendations for all hosts are to set up reasonable rates, especially when you only start hosting. It's very important to be competitive and set up reasonable rates for production, meetings, and events, differentiating between different types of activities. Remember that events are usually most expensive. Events are more expensive than production and meeting, while meetings are less expensive. Meetings are usually less expensive than production and events. So the scale is like meeting, production, event, and you can set up different rates for different types of activities and for different crew sizes, numbers of people. Bright photos, attractive pictures, of course, eye-catching photos are very important because most renters choose their location not by description, not by title, but by the picture. Still, it's important to add keywords to the listing's description and title so that the listing appears in search results when the renter searches by keywords. We have noticed that most renters don't select features in the features bar, search bar, but they manually introduce keywords to the main search field. For example, natural light or well-lit studio, or types of equipment, or wedding event, these keywords that describe the activity or the location that they look for are used in the search field by renters to search for locations. So think about the main characteristics and advantages of your location, why it's attractive for your renters, and introduce these keywords into your title and description. Make the title eye-catching and informative. Not keep it simple, because these keywords, the descriptions you provide, are used to make your listing stand out in search results when renters look for locations by keywords. Be responsive, of course, be responsive to inquiries and requests. As I already explained, it's very important to be responsive. Otherwise, you may be suspended for unresponsiveness. And the more you communicate with your renters, the more responsive you are, the more requests and inquiries you will receive. It works like that. When the host replies, even if the booking is not confirmed yet, even if you only communicate in chats, you will receive more and more inquiries if you are responsive. And when you already have confirmed bookings, don't forget to leave reviews for your renters and ask them to review you back, because positive reviews are extremely important for the great listing, or for the great rating of your listing. Rescheduling and cancellation policy. Here we have the cancellation policy. It's explained in details in our location agreement and in the help section on our website. But to sum it up, it's important to remember that the renter is given a full refund only if they cancel within 24 hours of booking confirmation, and there are more than 48 hours before the start of the booking. If the renter makes a last-minute booking and there are less than 48 hours before the start, they won't be given any refund. And if the 24-hour grace period is over, but there are still more than 48 hours before the start of the booking, the renter will be entitled to half of the location fee, and the host will be paid out the other half, and all additional fees will be refunded in full. It's important to remember that additional fees are refunded in full if the booking is cancelled, even if there are less than if the 24-hour grace period is over. As for rescheduling, sometimes renters want to change the date of the booking, and here it's up to you, the host, whether you allow rescheduling or not. We do not oblige hosts to allow rescheduling or change the details of the initial booking. Rescheduling is recommended, but it's not obligatory. So it's up to you whether you allow rescheduling free of charge, or maybe you want to charge some rescheduling fee as compensation for these changes. If you do not want to accommodate rescheduling, the booking will be cancelled according to the cancellation policy. But the general rule is that it's good to allow rescheduling free of charge at least once, so that you and the renter both keep the booking, don't lose money, and both parties are satisfied. As for the cancellation policy, remember that if you want to enforce your own cancellation policy, maybe you have some custom cancellation rules, you can always do it by sending a custom rate to your renter if you want to enforce the custom cancellation policy for a particular renter for a particular booking. Or if it's for all bookings, please describe it in your listings description. And before you accept the booking request, don't forget to remind your renters of your custom cancellation policy. Just send them a short message saying that please remember that we have a custom cancellation policy, and you can see the details in our listings description. But we don't mind you enforcing the custom policy if that is what is more convenient, more comfortable for you. It does not go against our rules, as long as you and the renter are both informed of the custom policy before the booking is accepted. How to cancel a confirmed booking? While you are allowed to request a booking update from within the application, the booking cancellation is still processed through Giggster customer support as of now. So if you need to cancel the booking or the renter asks you to cancel the booking, please make sure to send a cancellation request through the help chat on our website, and we will make sure to cancel the booking immediately. Don't forget that if you, the host, cancel the booking, you are not penalized, meaning that we do not charge any penalty fee, but your rating is affected. If the renter cancels the booking, it's canceled according to the cancellation policy, and a refund is provided according to the cancellation policy. Or if you wish to make an exception to the cancellation policy, it can be done. Just make sure to let us know that this booking should be canceled on such terms, meaning that if no refund is allowed, but you want to grant a refund, we will make sure to grant a refund. It's absolutely okay for us, and we will just enforce your decision regarding a particular cancellation. And just don't forget to let us know that a particular booking should be cancelled according to custom rules. You can always communicate with us in the customer support chat on our website, and let us know about any changes or the cancellation that is required for a booking. I mentioned the location agreement, the main document regulating the relationships between the host and the renter. You can review the template of the location agreement in the help section on our website. And as I already mentioned, you can modify, amend any clauses by sending a custom rate. Or if you already have a confirmed booking and you and the renter decide that something should be changed, something should be amended, you can request changes by using the update booking feature, and you will be able to introduce notes that will be added to the addendum, or simply by sending us a message in the help chat on our website and asking us to modify the location agreement. We will make sure that both you and the renter are on the same page and agree to the updates, and then we will add notes to the location agreement addendum. Additional agreements and location release forms may be signed. Sometimes it's necessary for producers to sign some additional forms, and they ask hosts to sign allocation release forms. It's absolutely normal. It's the industry standard. But remember that whatever documentation you sign outside of the platform, we can't then enforce the documents or interpret them or make some decisions based on other documents. When we resolve disputes or we make decisions, resolve conflicts, we always rely on the Giggster location agreement generated for your booking, considering the notes or the custom terms if you added some to the addendum, and on the term, we also rely on the terms of service. Any additional documentation that you may sign with the renter is not taken into account by Giggster. As for the security deposit and additional fees, we allow collecting a security deposit and additional fees through Giggster or directly from the renter. Not all hosts know it, so I'm always happy when people join the meeting and learn about it, because it makes the process easier, especially with the security deposit, because it's not automatically collected by Giggster, and some hosts don't know how to collect it. It can be added to the additional fees of the listing. Really, we don't take any commission from the security deposit. However, after the completion of the booking, it will be refunded only 72 hours. And the refund may take like 5 or even 7 business days. So it will take, in general, about 10 days for the renter to get their money back, which is a long period. Of course, the renter is more comfortable when they finish the booking and they return their security deposit. That's why we allow collecting a security deposit directly from the renter, maybe in cash, maybe through some other applications, payment applications. But it's very important to inform your renter of the security deposit requirement in your communication with the renter before you accept their booking request and in the listings description. As long as the renter knows about this requirement, you are all good. You can collect the deposit directly from the renter and refund it at the end of the booking. As for the additional fees, the same rule works here. You can set up additional fees on your listing, or you can add the add-on fees. Add-on fees are optional fees. The difference between the additional fees and the add-ons is that additional fees are automatically added to all booking requests. The renter can't remove them. For example, you have the cleaning fee as an additional fee. It will be automatically added to all booking requests, so the renter won't be able to remove it. The cleaning fee will be added to all requests. But if you have it as an add-on or some equipment rental as an add-on, the renter will be able to add it or not add it to their booking request. That is a difference. It's maybe also about the site rep. If the site rep is compulsory, it's featured as a site rep. We have a particular field for the site rep fee. It will be automatically added to all booking requests. But if, for example, some technician or engineer is required for the booking, for example, for music recording purposes or some other purposes on site, and these engineer services or technician services can be added as an add-on, so that the renter knows, oh yeah, they have the engineer, maybe I will need the help, or the cameraman, or the photographer. Even some studios have photography services, and the renter will be added this will be able to add this add-on. It will be up to the renter. And if you want to collect payment and process the additional fees outside of Giggster, it's allowed. As long as you and the renter are both on the same page and you inform them that you will charge them an additional fee for some additional services that you agree on. A filming or event permit and production and event insurance. These are very, very important topics that may raise a lot of questions. But the things are not that difficult, are not that complicated. According to our location agreement and the terms of service, producer or the renter should comply with all applicable laws and obtain a filming or an event permit if it's specified and required by the host. What does it mean? Permits are not required for all bookings. They are not required for all locations. The rules are very, very different depending on where the location is and what type of activity is to be held. So the host, the homeowner, is responsible for checking whether a filming or an event permit is required, and if it's required, it should be specified in the listings details and in communication with the renter. The host should inform the renter that a filming or an event permit is required to use this location for their project, and the renter will be responsible for obtaining all the necessary permits as required by the host. Please also remember that even when permits are required by local authorities, some activities are exempt from this requirement, especially when these are activities where no more than 5 people are present, when they use only the inside of the property and not use the outside of the property, and when the purpose of filming, for example, is not commercial purposes. Like it's simply, some stories for Instagram, but they like it's for my personal account, so to say. Or I want to take some photos of my family. It's not commercial purpose. It's like some family activity, some pastime. So in this case, the permit is not needed. It's not a commercial activity, and there is a limited number of people, like maximum 5 people. The action takes place inside of the location, and in this case, a permit is usually not required. But if it's a large event, there are many people, they may use street parking, they will be noticed, so to say, by the neighbors. A permit, a filming and an event permit are usually required, especially if we talk about the Los Angeles area, the California. The rules are very strict. What happens if the host goes without a permit? Unfortunately, if the host is reported, but by neighbors or whoever notices that and decides to submit a report to local authorities who prove that some activity took place without a permit, the location may be put on respite, meaning that the location won't be available for bookings and future renters won't be able to get permits. And imagine that you hosted someone without a permit, but then you have a big producer, big production company contacting you, and they want to use your location, but they are not given a permit because you allowed a previous renter to use your space without a permit. That's why we recommend always checking with local authorities whether a permit for filming or for events is necessary at your location, in your area, and make sure to inform your renters when a permit is needed. And remember that an exception can be made when it's not a commercial activity and there are no more than 5 people who will use only inside of the property. So the renter should check on the rules and inform, the host should check on the rules and inform the renter of such rules, and the renter will have to cover all costs associated with obtaining a permit. As for the insurance, again, the renter is responsible for obtaining a short-term event or production insurance certificate with minimum $2 million liability for coverage for general liability and property damage cases. It's the renter's responsibility, and in this case, we don't make any exceptions, meaning that we insist on the renters buying a certificate of insurance. Some companies have a long-term insurance. It's absolutely okay to use the long-term insurance as long as it covers the activity at your location, and the renter can discuss it with the insurance company. As for renters who don't have a long-term insurance, they can always obtain a short-term certificate of insurance, even online, that will cover their activity at your location. And they must send you a copy of the certificate, so that in case something occurs, some damages to the location, you will be able to file a claim at the insurance company. The site rep and the site rep report, this is a very, very important step in the booking process. Please remember that according to the location agreement, producer and host must be present at the completion of the production for a final walkthrough of the premises and to sign on the site rep report. Site rep report is the term used when the host is not present and they are represented by a site rep. But if the host is present, there is no site rep, this document is called a walkthrough report. So it's actually the same thing. It's a paper where the host or the site rep and the renter specify the start and the end time, the booking details, the renter's name, and any additional charges that have been incurred and that should be covered by the renter. Even if they are covered on site, the host or the site rep will make a note and indicate that the additional charges have been covered by the renter on site. And this report should be signed by the renter. Why is it important? Imagine that the renter have not covered additional charges on site and they still owe you some money and they leave the premises. Then to collect the additional payment, it's very important to have this written document so that you can prove that the renter is informed that they owe you this money. And if you submit a claim in Giggster's claim portal and decide to process additional charges through Giggster, we will ask you to submit a site rep or a walkthrough report, and we will charge the renter's card on file based on the information in this report. As for the site rep, this is a location manager, a location representative, and the host representative, a person who helps the host on site when the host can't be present. And it's very recommended to have a person representing you when you are not able to be on site, especially at the end of the booking, and to complete a walkthrough and sign a site rep report. You can hire a professional site rep, or you can simply invite your friend or somebody who wants to help you with that, and the renter will have to pay a site rep fee that you can establish in your listing, and this person will help the renter during the booking and will help to complete the walkthrough and fill out the report required at the end of the booking. Site rep fees vary. Professional site reps may charge around $400-$500 per 8 hours a day, and not professional site reps may charge less fee, smaller fee. So it's up to you whom you invite. It's not compulsory to invite a professional site rep. Oh, yes. Sure, sure. Uh, Technically, formally, it should be signed by both parties. But if the host can't sign it, it's okay, but the renter must sign it because this report is like approval by the renter of the additional charges. When you sign, you can sign it on paper. You can even exchange messages with your renter. It's not compulsory to put it on the paper physically. You can do it via email. So simply that you have proof of communication with your renter about these additional charges. And if you submit a claim through Giggster, it can be submitted in our claim portal. or simply sending us a message in the help chat, and we will tell you where to send the information. In the claim portal, you will be able to specify what is owed, what overages have been incurred, and you will be asked to upload the site rep report, which is not compulsory like a PDF file. It can be a screenshot of your communication with your renter. That's it. Yeah, you're welcome. And this is our actually last topic about the overages and additional charges, where I'm explaining that by overages, we understand overtime, extra people, damages, and minor charges. All these things can be specified and should be specified in the site or the walkthrough report. And you can see that the overtime is usually charged at 1.5 hourly rate. So it's charged at a higher rate than the regular hourly rate for the booking. However, if the host wants to charge at a regular rate, it's absolutely okay. But usually it's a little bit higher, the overtime rate. Extra people. The rate for extra people is always indicated in the addendum to the location agreement calculated per booking, and you can review it when you accept the booking request. You will see the location agreement and the rate for extra people. That is the rate you will use if you allow additional people on site, and you will be able to request payment for these extra people using the extra people overages rate. Then damages. Formally, according to the location agreement, the renter has 30 days to fix any damages or pay the invoice provided by the renter for damages. If the renter does not do it, the host can make a claim at the insurance company. But I reassure you, most claims are resolved within 7 business days after the completion of the booking. And if a site rep report or a walkthrough report, it's the same thing, yeah? If it's signed, if it's filled out and signed, you can be sure that the claim will be resolved like in a couple of days, because it's proof of your communication with your renter about the additional charges, and we have no roadblocks that would prevent us from charging the renter for these extra fees. And also remember that we allow collecting payment for extra people, for overtime, damages, and minor charges, even directly from the renter on site. It's not compulsory to submit a claim through Giggster. If the renter asks you to extend the booking, you have multiple ways how you can extend the booking. For example, the renter asks you to add 2 hours to the booking. You can use the update booking feature and modify the original booking. As I explained earlier, you go to the booking and you update the booking. You ask the renter to accept the new booking details, so we modify the original booking. You can also send the renter a custom rate from the booking chart. In the custom rate, you will put the price for additional time requested. And again, the renter will have to accept a custom rate so that we collect the payment and guarantee you additional payout. Finally, you can ask the renter to pay directly to you on site. It's also allowed. If the renter asks you to extend the booking or to add people to the booking, or they want to pay for damages on site, or even for minor charges if they request some additional services, or they owe you for cleaning because they did not clean the location before leaving the premises. Even the minor charges can be collected directly from the renter on site, not through Giggster. It's allowed as long as it facilitates the process for you and makes things easier for you and for the renter. But not all renters are ready to pay directly to the host for multiple purposes. They prefer to keep everything through Giggster. And in this case, you can update the booking, you can send a custom rate, or you can file a claim in our claim portal. You can find a claim. You can find a link to the claim portal in the help section on our website. You can request it in the help chat on our website. And we will ask you to specify the details, the sum that is owed, the total sum, and submit a site rep or a walkthrough report so that we can charge the renter and send you your additional payout. So it's like a variety of ways to collect the additional charges from the renter. We are very flexible and we want to make it easy for you. So if the renter wants to pay directly to you for the booking extension, extra people, for damages, or for minor charges, you are allowed to accept the additional payment directly. The payment for the booking itself should be processed through Giggster so that we generate a location agreement for you, so that you are protected by our location agreement, by our cancellation policy, and you have our 24/7 customer support. But as for the additional fees for some overages, you can collect the payment directly from the renter if it works for both of you. And you can see here, I show where the link to the claim portal can be found in our article in the help section on our website. You can check it in the help section and see how it works, what information we require from you. And this is actually everything that I wanted to share with you today. This is the presentation that I prepared. And if you want me to share it with you, I can send it your way so that you can see the names of the articles I recommend and go through this information once again. It's if you feel like you need it. If you have any questions, you can ask me now. Feel free to do it. Sure. Is it refundable or not? Oh, I see. As for Gigster, we require a total payment for the booking to be made right away for the booking to become confirmed, meaning that the renter will have to pay the total amount, the total cost of the booking for us to confirm the booking. Thus, we avoid any issues with payment methods that may occur in the future. We guarantee your payout. So we require from the renter to make a total payment. Yes, if they cancel within 24 hours after confirmation of the booking. If I book today and they cancel in 12 hours or 22 hours, and there are still more than 48 hours before they start, I will get my money back. But if I book today for tomorrow, no luck. Unfortunately, I won't get any money back. You're always welcome. Do you have any other questions? Yeah, sure. I will send it your way. Have you signed up for this session, Giselle? Do I have your email on file? Just checking. So I will find you. I will find you in the list of attendees, and I will send you the recorded version for your colleague. Okay. 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 Thank you so much. Thank you. You too. You too. Thank you for joining. Bye bye.